Welcome back to the Cheap Heat Productions podcast. Okay, welcome to the show. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. It's Mr. Dave Sullivan, a man that you'll probably recognize from the screens of WCW television. How are you doing today, man?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Good. Listen, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today, man. So we'll rewind back to the beginning, is what I always do, and just to find out how you got into the crazy world of professional wrestling.
Well, I was coaching football and met Harley Race, the King, because I was in Topeka at the time at a university, and met him. And he kind of recruited me when I was recruiting his son. So I went down and started training with him and Bob Geigel. And then after that, I went out to Oregon and trained with Grappler and Rowdy. And then I got started full-time in it with PNW there with Don Owens.
Yeah. And was it something that you ever thought about before you guys crossed paths about getting into the wrestling business, or you focused on football at the beginning of your career?
Well, football mostly began in my career. I did wrestle as an amateur in high school and everything, and when I was a little kid. But yeah, I kind of thought about it at times, but I just never took it serious till I met Harley. Being honest with you.
Yeah. And what was the thing about Harley that made you say, "Yes, I'm going to do this"? How did he convince you, or did you need convincing?
I didn't really need to be convinced. I kind of, when he approached me to get me involved and start training me, I thought, I'm going to do this. I thought about it in the past, but I thought when he did that, that was good. So I wanted to do it then.
Yeah. Did you ever think about how hard it could be, or it was on your body at the time before getting into it?
Playing football, I thought was hard too on my body, but wrestling is harder because you do it every day when you're on the road and stuff, and it's nonstop. So I don't think you really realize it until you get into it how difficult wrestling is on your body.
Yeah.
Night in and night out doing the show.
Yeah. While we're talking about on the body, or just an off topic, what is the worst injury that you think you've ever sustained in the ring?
Oh, well, I dislocated my shoulder in Germany there working for Otto. That was the worst. And when I was working with the WCW, I tore my quadricep tendon in a dark match with when Kevin and I were working against. I can't remember what tag team it was. It was a pre-match for the show sent off for the pay-per-view, and I got rolled up on the back and it snapped, and that was very painful because I couldn't really stand up because it was the tendon in that hooked your quadricep, and my quadricep rolled up in my leg and all that.
That must have put you out of action for a long time, did it?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, look, you've wrestled all over the world, and we were just talking a little bit there that you did get to wrestle over here in Ireland. Do you have any memories of being over here?
Oh, I tell you what, it's a beautiful country. It's green all the time. That's the thing that amazed me the most about it. People are very, very friendly, and you guys make a good beer there. I mean, that dang Guinness is good. It's much better over there than we get over here in the cans and stuff. So, and the pubs are a lot of fun there.
Yeah, that's what I'd be telling people. I was actually in America for the first time in April, but I just couldn't try the Guinness there because I know it's not going to be the same. And people
It's
that
not
I'm
the
talking,
same.
yeah, people that I talk to in the States think that the Guinness that you guys have over there is the shit, like is the normal Guinness, but it isn't really until you've been to Ireland.
It's not even close. Not even
Yeah.
close. Totally
Did you
different.
did you get to have a couple of beers over here?
Oh, quite a few. Probably a few too many sometimes.
Yeah.
Finley's a good friend of mine, and that little sucker can drink a lot of beer now.
Yeah, I don't think you never quite lose that as an Irishman, and What was Finley like to work with anyway?
Oh, good. I mean, he's one of the best. I think he's one of the sharpest wrestlers there is. He just understands the business because he grew up in it with his dad, and he, you learned a lot from him about the business and how to treat it and everything. And he was a great teacher. I'm glad I met him young in my career, young part of my career, because I learned a lot from him.
Yeah, and then he went on, obviously, very successfully trained a lot of female wrestlers in the
Oh,
WWF as well.
I think he's still doing that. Yeah, yeah, down
Yeah,
there in
yeah.
Orlando. Yeah, yeah.
If How did you end up going to WCW then initially?
Well, I was down in Puerto Rico working down there for whatever his name is that ran that down there. Working with them, I was doing the Equalizer thing there with a lot like Bruiser Brody, and
Yeah,
then Dusty just gave me a call one day and asked if I wanted to come up and do a bit with the WCW, and then I ended up going up there and then I got hired full time. So it was kind of one of them just weird calls. I was down there, he called because I was rooming with Dick Murdoch, which, him and Dick were real good friends. They were in the business both when they were young. And so they were really close, good friends. And he called Dick, and then Dick told me, and I was up there.
yeah. And what was that company like to work with back then?
WCW.
Yeah,
I was good. When I first, it was really good. I enjoyed it then. That was a lot of fun. Dusty kind of was a booker and he ran things, and then Jody Hamilton ran the back part when we were on TV and stuff. So, guys were really cool with Rude and all those guys. So I mean, I really enjoyed it.
yeah. I'm kind of jumping ahead here because I wanted to mention, obviously, you wrestled in Japan as well, and that's a massive deal. Like, there's a lot of people that talk very respectfully about the Japanese audience and the culture, and of course, you were over there with New Japan. And how did you find Japan, both culture wise and in a wrestling sense? How did it differ to the States?
It's a little more stiff, a little more realistic and stuff like that. The people, though, people are great over there. Two great fans, and they take it seriously. I mean, to me, that's other than the sumo wrestling, it's the number two sport over there, so it's very important. And I really enjoyed working over there for them because it was different. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed traveling, so I really enjoyed going to Japan.
Yeah, would that be up there with one of your favorite places to wrestle then?
I would rate it up that in Europe, those two places. Because I wrestled
Yeah.
in South Africa and other places, but I really enjoyed Europe because the fans in Europe really get into it, and so in Japan too.
Was there anywhere in the world that you didn't get to wrestle in that you wanted to?
Oh, probably. I never got to go to Russia and wrestle over there, but I don't know how much anybody has anymore. I mean, they probably do, maybe not now, but back then you always kind of want to just see the country. And I never,
Yeah.
they didn't do a lot of shows over there.
Russia is the big heel at the moment over here in Europe, let's just say.
It's probably the big heel worldwide right now.
Yeah, is it affecting things over there? Like everyone is saying, like because of this war, the prices of everything has gone up. Like shit's gone kind of crazy over here. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
about
mean,
over there.
do you think it's the war? What do you? I mean,
Well,
they keep
I
using
don't.
that for an excuse, but I just you never know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the COVID was the excuse, and now it's the war. I find.
I know. It's like they're the big boys are the heel, and they're just using these as ways to get at it. I don't know. You wonder because
Yeah,
you just don't know. But is inflation bad over there too, like it is here?
yeah. The price of fuel, the price of like diesel for cars, stuff like that. It's all like doubled, maybe tripled. I'm sure it's the same over there.
That and honestly and truly, if you look at it, if you're going to increase fuel, everything else is going to increase because that's how it gets there. Your food and everything, that's how it gets there. So you can buy at the store, goods or anything is fuel. So if you raise the price of fuel, everything else is going to raise.
Yeah, I've noticed that because I work in a store, like, and I've just noticed that everything from an energy drink to bread is just creeping up slightly.
Yeah, yeah, no question. Milk and all that stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but anyway, we got slightly off topic there. Anyway,
That's okay. That's
yeah,
okay.
but
But you're right.
just
They're the heels right now.
they're the big heel.
Yeah,
What was it like being on the road as a wrestler, say in the 1990s?
yeah, a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun. The guys were pretty cool and stuff, and you just, we went out and we had a lot of good times together. Get in trouble
Who
very
was
easily.
Yeah, who was the best guys to go out with that you worked with in the business?
Finley was one of them. And when I was at WCW, I went out a lot with Bagwell and those guys, and he was partnered up at the time. He passed just recently, old Patriot, so I enjoyed going out with him a lot and stuff, and those guys, and of course Rick Rude and all them too. They were a lot of fun and everything. So I mean, most of the guys I went out with, I usually didn't go out the bad guys. I tried to go out the guys that were a lot of fun and stuff, and we always had a good time. We got drink a few pints, throw them down.
Yeah. Just a moment on Buff Bagwell. You mentioned him there. I had him as a guest on my show like last year.
How's
Did you
he
see the
doing?
recent? Did you see the recent photos of him?
Yeah, I saw him come across when you did your pre-glam and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen Marcus for quite a while. How's he doing?
Oh, he's doing really good. He's with DDP in DDP's program. He went in there to kind of, I
Dry
guess,
out a little bit.
clean the body up. Yeah. So there's some really interesting photos that came out of Buff the other day. I'm going to try find them here just to get your reaction because they're quite incredible. Let me see if technology
Let you do it.
will let me do it. I will show you the most recent photo of Buff now. You're not going to believe this. Okay, I should be able to do this for you now. Do, do, do. Okay, here we go.
That's
Just going to
not him.
make that. Yes, it is.
That's
Yeah,
not Buck.
that's Buff. That is Buff
Holy,
the other day.
holy cow! Boy, he got
Now,
what's this? No, he really did get cleaned up.
yeah. Now I think they may have been doing this for like a TV thing or something, but that is Buff from the other day. He looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, because he went through a bad deal with that last time we had those accident and those car things, and I remember DDP saying that he was, he mentioned on Facebook he was going to help him and stuff. So that's good. He's done miracles. You know,
Yeah,
he got Scott Hall and Jake the Snake all straightened up too.
yeah,
He's a good-hearted man.
yeah. Did you find working in the business back then that there was a lot of problems with alcohol and drug abuse, and maybe it wasn't kind of regulated, not just in WCW now. I'm just saying in general.
Oh, I think wrestling had a lot of issues with that back then. Yeah, I don't know if it still does anymore, but it did. It did. I mean, it was. That's why I think so many of them lost their life at such a young age.
Yeah, I always compare when I talk about things like that to people. It was like, well, what was rock and roll like in the 80s, or what was Hollywood like? What are they like
Exactly.
now? You still see things coming out every so often of people partying hard and whatever.
I don't think do they party hard like we all did in the '80s and '90s though.
I wouldn't think so because the old with these guys, the phones. I think that's got a problem these days.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Technology's probably changed a lot of that stuff.
If technology was around in your wrestling days, I think maybe a lot of people may have been cancelled, would they?
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably
Yeah.
exactly. That's probably a good point. Well, well said.
I just want to say you tag teamed with Rick Rude. What was he like as a person, both inside and outside the ring?
He's a great worker, one of the best. Um, Very talented. Um, Person wise, I get along with him great. We traveled a
Yeah,
lot together and partied a lot together, and we always had a good time with Rick. Stayed at his house a few times. Always a gentleman. So I really like Rick Rude.
yeah,
I mean, I enjoyed working with him. That's my first guy I got to work with when I got in the business with the WCW, and he really was. He was good to me.
yeah. I'll ask you a question straight out, but you don't have to name names. What's the craziest thing that you've ever seen on a night out with a wrestler?
Oh, in Charlotte, North Carolina, when we were all there, and for some reason they wanted to fight a guy, and I'm going to say his name, and I don't know why they wanted to fight him, and all of a sudden the guys we were working against were there too, and I'm not going to say their names, and we ended up clearing the place out, and then we didn't get arrested, but they tried to sue us and stuff, but we got out of it. So
Wow.
it got
So there was
interesting.
a barroom brawl, if you will.
Yes, and then it was stupid because it was just some idiot one that thought he could beat somebody up, and it just got people and his friends went nuts, and then we just took it over from there. But it was like going. You look back at it now, you go, when the heck was that guy even thinking? Probably wasn't thinking that's why it happened.
It happens a lot, I think, with people. They try and annoy. I think like if I see you out from television, maybe, and I'm not gonna like try and work you up or whatever. But it happens. I think guys try to do it for money. Try to get a claim or something like that these days.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
we were all, a bunch of us were in a small town outside of, I think it was Georgia. We all went, you've probably heard the story, but we're all out hog hunting. And we go to this place, and this guy tells, what the heck is his name? Mr. Perfect, Kurt, that he could beat him in arm wrestling. And it's like going, and Kurt doesn't arm wrestle anyway, but he's like, I'll kill you, I'll drop you. But Rube, was an arm wrestling champion. He goes, that skinnier guy over there, I'll let you wrestle him. If you beat him, then you could arm wrestle me. And so he sets Rude up. Rude, of course, flashes the guy like nothing, hitting. And thank God, because I didn't want to arm wrestle him. I didn't want to lose to him. I'd have had to punch him if I arm wrestled him. But I'm just saying, Rude just because he was so good at him. He was a world champ, lightweight.
Yeah. When you and Kevin Sullivan had the angles together, how did you guys work as a team?
Oh, we knew how to work together because we were tag team there for a while before we ended up working against each other. But yeah, Kevin was fun to work with because it's a more of a brute style when you work with Kevin. It's not wrestling; it's just basically a brawl. And so I kind of like those kind of matches. You don't have to fall down all over the place, take a bunch of bumps, or catch anybody. Just go out and have a little brawl. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. And what was it like working with the Hulkster then? Obviously went on to probably be the biggest star probably ever in wrestling, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Other than probably Rox might have been the only one you can put over him because Rox made it a lot bigger in Hollywood than I think anybody ever thought anybody could. But
yeah,
it was fun. But Hulk's a little bit different, but it's fun.
Yeah, is he a very serious guy when it comes to planning matches and things like that?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he is, which is fine. Yeah, when you talk Flair, everything Flair does, we do in the ring.
Yeah,
very, very, very little's talked about.
Yeah. Did you see Rick's last match last night?
Yes, I watched a little bit of it today. I felt for him.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch.
Yeah, he really he just wanted to do it, and you could see his heart was in it. But man, like at that age, it's so difficult to pull it off, isn't it?
Well, and especially what he's been through health wise in the last year and a half. He almost died, and they put a pacemaker in him. So he's been through a tough time. So to try to do that's very difficult. I give him credit in his heart to doing it, but it was hard. It was hard to watch because that wasn't the Ric Flair I was around all the time.
Yeah, but he is what? He's 70 now, isn't he?
Oh, I think he's 74, isn't he? Or is he 72, 73?
Wow.
He's in his 70s, but I think with going through those health things that he went through, what was that, 2 years ago when he was in the hospital, almost died, all that stuff changes you so much physically because what your body has to go through and your heart and everything to recover. I don't think you'd ever be the same.
Maybe that just kind of woke something up in him, and he said, "Right, if this happens again, I need to have at least one more match and get back in the business."
So. I'm sure that's what it was. Knowing Rick, and he just wanted to go out doing it his way, and I'm sure that's why he did it. Kind of like Elvis on his last show. He wanted to go out and sing My Way and do all that stuff. I don't know if he knew he was going to die, but he had to have those last good shows before he went.
I hope he just retires now and actually enjoys his life. He's put more than enough time into this business to enjoy his life, I think, at this point.
Oh God, yeah. When he was help building it up, he'd work 2 shows a day. They'd take him to one place, do him another, when he was champion and traveling all over. So yeah, he definitely put all his time in this business that anybody ever has.
Yeah. One man that was there sitting in the crowd last night was DDP that you worked with, and you worked a good angle. You worked a good angle with him.
Was he last night?
Yeah, he was there. He got involved with Mark Cardona. He came in and just gave him a diamond cutter, but I think it was just kind of a cameo kind of thing. But obviously a very well respected guy in the business. How did you two get along when you were working your program together?
And we did. It was good. I mean, it was a little different because we had the diamond doll and all that stuff involved with it. But his
Yeah.
wife at the time, but she was a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart, and it was good. Diamond's easy to work with. I mean, yeah, he's shown his true heart by helping all these people out like he does, and helping them when they're down in their luck and they need help and they don't have any direction. And I think I give him credit for that. That's an honorable job that what he's done with that.
Did you see signs of that in him as a person back then, even to what he's become now?
Well, I remember every Christmas he had the biggest Christmas party. He's like a big kid, you know. He didn't have in him, and I cannot remember Diamond Doll's first name for the heck of me, or real name.
Oh, Kimberly.
It's at Kimberly, and they didn't
Yeah.
have any kids, but he had a Christmas party with all this stuff, and he put it all in himself, and it was like he was a giant kid. So you knew right then and there he had a huge heart for people.
Yeah.
He just
And
really cared about people.
yeah. When you ultimately left the business, what was your decision behind that?
Well, I did. I went back after and I did some independence and all that stuff around. I didn't really start till one, and I fart around a little bit with the independence nowadays too. But I mean, I just made a decision that the body was beat up enough, and let's go on and do some other things. So, got back into coaching and all that stuff, and started, doing the football thing again. So that's kind of what led me back into this. Is just realizing that I don't know if I want to travel and continue on it and put more through it than you realize you work a lot of days out of the year, and it's tough as you get older. So that's why I just did mostly got back into what I knew, the football, and then I did the wrestling part time, off and on.
Yeah. You kind of came full circle then from starting with the football, going into the wrestling, and coming back to the football. Are you still coaching now?
Yeah, I help out I coach at a high school here in town, so I do that and work with kids. So I'm still, involved. There's nothing better than high school football, Friday night, that stuff. Watch grow up.
Would you ever think about going back into the wrestling, even at a kind of writer or anything else capacity? Not obviously physically wrestling, but some way involved in a business and a job sense.
Yeah, help out the independents a little bit and work that way with them, and try to help younger guys and stuff. So, yeah, I would be happy to do something like that more full time if there was something like that. But I try to stay involved a little bit around the area with independents.
Yeah, very good. You've had absolute pleasure to have you on the show today, man. I told you it was going to be a piece of pie.
Well, if you're ever in America, you better call me up and come to Omaha, Nebraska, and and I ain't gonna get in as well. We'll just have a local. We'll go down and have like local IPP beer and have a good beer here that's made here in Omaha. Not try to Guinness. If I come there, I'm gonna have a Guinness with you.
Yeah. I hear Omaha on Chris Jericho's podcast all the time. Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks. That's his advertiser. Are they good?
Yeah, this is truthfully this is steak country of the world. I mean, we have the most beef in the world in this state out western Nebraska. So yeah, it's a big. If you want a good steak, I'll take you for a good steak, and we'll have a local beer too.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for your time today.
You be good.
You too.
All right, man.